Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. Welcome for another wrestling related podcast. So sit back and listen. It's gonna be a good one if you like this kind of sort of thing. Now, this is just a rumor, and I just want to do this, okay? Just for the hell of it. This may happen or may not happen. It's just a freaking rumor. And plus, I had nothing else to do tonight. So, okay, let's just get down to the bottom line. Now, I really think the real reason that John Cena defeated um, the real at Hell in a Cell recently, because number one, the real sucks. He sucks on the mic. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has great wrestling skills. He has good mic skills, but overall, his whole wrestling package sucks ass. That's just my theory because it reminds me of the current JBL. I know when the real was the hate was so when he was the heel and he has his personal ring announcer and all that stuff. See, when JBL was this rich dude, he had a limo driver. But when Dario came into the WWE, he drove his own vehicle and he has his own personal ring announcer. It's almost the same thing. Almost. They're both rich and they're both very snotty and they're both awesome heel. But when WWE decided to put the real face, that ruined his WWE career. I mean, that's just my theory, okay? You might have a different opinion. Now they went back to heel, the real. So WWE can make up their freaking mind, you know what I'm saying? And I know he beat Dolph Ziggler at the Payback this past summer. And the reason I haven't because I guess Dolph Ziggler was in hot water backstage. That is freaking bull crap. But it's what it is, what it is. Now Dolph Ziggler is stuck in mid-card position. That's not really fair, but whatever. Hopefully he gets out of this mid-card position and go back to the main event when he really belongs. He's a young guy, and I get so tired of the same guys, John Cena, Randy Orton, and etc. etc. I don't mind Daniel Bryan, and I really don't mind CM Punk, but the other guys must step up to the plate. But WWE creators must give you guys a chance. That's why when John Cena came back in action around Hell in a Cell, he won the belt over the Rio, and maybe it would be better viewers, help the SmackDown brand out big time because SmackDown has not been good since Edge left. It's been after WrestleMania 27, I think. Injuries. If he never got hurt, he was to be on the roster, no doubt about it. But it was time for him to go, and not in that kind of way. But he's in the Hall of Famer and all that. I think they should wait a couple years, but whatever. But same thing for HBK. They should wait a couple years. He just recently retired. Now they put in the Hall of Fame the following year. That makes no sense. But I'm not gonna complain. The real reason I want to make this video or podcast is it's just rumors about unify the world belt and the WWE belt. I know currently this might change. Orton is the WWE champion and John Cena is the world heavyweight champion. Now I know Orton and John Cena had a lot of battles in the past. Now can you guys imagine these two guys have a one-on-one match, and in this match they will unify the belts? It could happen It could happen at the Rumble. It could happen at WrestleMania. I don't know if it's gonna happen at WrestleMania 30. I freaking doubt it. But I don't know, just rumors. But would you guys like to see unify of the world belt or the W belt? In my eyes, I say yes. Now, in the back in the day, I say no because they had the split brand, they had the draft, and all good stuff. These days, it doesn't really matter because both guys on the same freaking show, Raw and SmackDown, and I think was it 2011 they used to call it Raw and SmackDown Super Show. Triple H used to say that, and then now they stopped saying that because all the mid carders on both shows. So, what's your thoughts? So, if you don't want to hear from me, I have a YouTube legend. I think he's a legend. He's pretty good, and I got the soundbite from one of the videos. So listen up, my video. Listen up, my viewers, and you give me your opinions, your thoughts, and I'll continue after this. Okay, here goes.
Opinion. I know that a lot of people have had this rumored since like 2010 as well, around WrestleMania 27. They were gonna, unify all the titles, and I'm not a big fan for saying unify all the titles because at that time, Raw and SmackDown were still divided. But these days we haven't had a draft, and God knows, however, and being a Raw or a SmackDown guy doesn't really mean shit anything anymore. Everybody's on every show, and I understand the meaning why you did it. If you go back to right around the time Edge left, everybody can remember the pictures of what SmackDown shows were basically looking like. And I heard the SmackDown show that they had, they taped on Tuesday. I can't remember where they were, but that was one of the worst crowds that they've ever pulled in a long, long time. And I understand that that's why they started moving guys around, making sure that guys like Sheamus and Randy Orton were on Monday Night Raw. They were calling it the Raw Super Show or whatever the hell they were calling it. Triple H made it his new initiative that the SmackDown guys are going to be on Raw. But it took a long while for Raw to give SmackDown the rub and put the guys back over there. But they started moving guys around everywhere, so it doesn't really matter where you are. But I think anytime that you're on the SmackDown show and it's not sort of like a one-time deal, like they put Punk on there to have a match against somebody and make sure that SmackDown numbers keep up and make it a show that you want to go out of your way to see. If you're looked at as a guy that is on that roster, you're looked at as sort of like the B team, like nobody wants to be on the NWO B team, hang out with Kurt Hennig, Stevie Ray, Virgil, and all those other dudes. You want to be on Raw. That's where the money's at. If you're on those Raw house shows, as long as the names like John Cena or CM Punk's on there, you know that they're gonna have a sellout. You know that your bonus ticket money that's gonna be coming in is gonna be worth more than going to these sparse B towns and not stirring things up. And I thought that if they didn't unify the titles, if you went to a show and they didn't have, your WWE champion there, WWE doesn't normally have a big enough feud in order to, have two house shows on the same day. If you stack it over here and you have your Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton thing over here, what's going to be in this other town right now when you don't have a guy like John Cena in order to support it. You're going to have towns going, people showing up and being unhappy because you don't do it. But, I mean, if you have a World Heavyweight Championship match and it's Dolph Ziggler against Sheamus, I don't even know those guys don't even make sense. One guy's hurt sitting at home, and another guy, he probably couldn't get a World Heavyweight Championship match to save his life right now for some stupid reason. It's like they understand that Ziggler's one of the most popular guys on the roster, but they don't want to push him because of something stupid they said in an interview that was never even really released, and nobody knows what he said. Just everybody knows that he said something and he's being held back for it. It's retarded. But I think when the money comes down and the chips fall down, I honestly think what they're going to do is they're going to unify the titles. I think the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be taking a back seat. I think it'll be going back on the DL for a while. It could be gone forever, but knowing WWE, they could bring it back in a matter of years. You can remember the Intercontinental title, died out when they was that back in like 2002, 2003. They went through and they unified all down to having just one belt because they wanted everything to be revolving around one thing. That way, wow, that's a shitload of food. But if everything was revolving around this, this one title, it would, make everything mean so much more in the long run. So I can really see what it comes down to is, Daniel Bryan being your WWE champion, John Cena's your world heavyweight champion. Everybody's sort of scratching their head saying, what the fuck's going on? Because, Cena's not going over to SmackDown, and if he does, it's not going to be an every week thing. Then you're going to be making it look like what happened with the draft in 2000.
Okay, thanks for coming on, Steve. Sort of. Anyway, now that's before the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view last month. I just got an idea, okay? Hopefully you don't mind if I steal a little bit, Steve. You're awesome anyway, Steve. Like everyone else is. Like Tony, Matt, Aaron, Go Dizzy, come back, Go Dizzy, Freaky Yaya, Solid Battery, Luke Cage, and much, much more. But what was I saying about unify the belts? I think that'd be a great idea currently because I think they should do it. Maybe, possibility, do it for 30. If not for 30, do it down the road because there's no reason in hell have a lot of belts on both freaking shows. You have currently you got the US belt, you got the IC belt, you got the tag team belts, and you got the world belt, and you got the W belt. The Divas belt don't mean nothing. If they want to unify it and bring back the Divas belt, scratch that. Bring back, and instead of unify the Divas belt, I know they did it in 2010 at Night Champions. Find a way, like a tournament for the Divas belt, and then whoever wins, they could have their choosing. That or the women's belt. I prefer the women's belt, but it's what it is, what it is. I prefer what I said earlier, unify the belts. They don't need all the belts on each show. They hardly defend the IC belt. Curtis Axel's hurt. That's what he's saying. I don't really what's really legit. The tag team belts they did it many moons ago. Now back in the day, I was all for the new look of the WWE belts. It reminded me of I can't remember. Now it's time for bring back the Attitude Era tag team belts or the old belts. I forget what belts they had, but the ones they have now, they're awful. The Gold Dust and Cody Rhodes, they're nasty. When I made a video about unify the tag team belts, I kind of like that. Now, if you think about it more and more, they're ugly, very nasty. Oh God, I don't know what W would think when they made that belt. Now back to the World Belt and W Belt. I have no problem they unify the belts. Most likely, it's gonna be Randy Orton versus John Cena down the road because I know they had an awesome feud. I think it was 2011 or 9. That long feud is very very boring. I know at Point Break they had a match or some other period I don't remember. I think that will happen. Would you guys like to see John Cena versus Randy Orton, the unified belts? If that does happen, probably no, because we saw this feud back in the day. So why they want to do it again? I don't mind if it's Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk for the unified belts. I prefer that because both guys are young in the WWE. Not really young, but more younger than John Cena and Orton. But that's just my theory. This is just rumor. I don't think it's really gonna happen anytime soon. If it does, they should done it around WrestleMania 27. In Atlanta, Georgia. But W always dropped the ball, or it just like people just like to make rumors. So I don't really want to tell you, but most of the stuff what Steven Bridge says about the unified belts, I totally agree with you, Steve. Um, SmackDown has not really been good since Edge left. And I don't know if you're really going to count Undertaker not recently, but like back in '08, '07, when he used to make more appearances on SmackDown, because SmackDown's taped for Tuesday for Friday, so it really doesn't matter if you show up there or not. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. SmackDown really needs more help. I think both shows should just be one show like they used to do back in the day of the Attitude Era, and it's getting better. You know. So I think Triple H is doing a good job, and that's just my theory. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the awesome picture that my friend Tony hooked me up with, and that's about it. And tune to the next wrestling related podcast. Goodbye. Follow me on Twitter and sub to me. And check out my other videos. I make all different kind of videos, not just wrestling related, but I've been on YouTube since '08. Now I'm out here. Sign off from your friend, Team Alright. Goodbye, everyone.